right. We are joined by assistant head coach Andy Spence, acting head coach today for Juan Carlos Amaros, who was suspended for the match. Andy, if you could just start us off with your thoughts on the match, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Yeah, obviously it was a difficult start to the game, conceding so early. But we spoke a lot prior to the game, and a lot of messaging across the season is, this team turns up when it matters, and I think we saw a really positive response from the side going 1-0 down. It would have been easy to completely lose our way at that point, but I thought the players did well to sort of steady themselves during that first half, and then obviously second half we had a real shift in terms of our speed of play. We looked a lot more dynamic with our attack and play, and obviously that led to some fantastic moments, and that spell, particularly in that first 15-20 minutes of the second half, I think we saw some real top quality.
Questions for Andy? Here.
Okay. Hello, my name's Jose de Caminos de Fútbol. Talk to me about the change from first half to second half, like tactically and mentally for the team.
Yeah, I think it was, very much a message at halftime, not to panic. And that's important for the team. Stick to what we do well. And obviously the changes, we're in a position now, and we said it again, we know now we've got a much more healthier roster. It gives us that opportunity to have a real impact, whether that's the players starting the game or then obviously coming into the game. And I think definitely we obviously saw, the players who came in at half-time and the players who closed the game for us as well really produce some good moments, and that's really pleasing and gives us a lot of confidence, leading into the next set of games, and really finishing this season strong. Thanks.
Sean Soccer, Long Island Magazine. Beginning of the game, beginning of the next half, everyone's more liable to give up a goal than basically any other time during the game. So you let up one early. What is the message immediately following that? And then you score early, you equalize early in the second half. What is your message immediately following that?
Message in terms of when we've actually scored the goal? Both, yeah. Obviously, when you concede, I think the biggest thing is that when it's that early, you've got a lot of time to still impact the game, and it's about remaining calm. And we've spoken a lot about how can we be a bit more in control of games for longer periods. So I thought the players, it wasn't amazing first half display, but again, it wasn't a performance which suddenly made it difficult for us in terms of the scoreline, and I still think we had a few chances. Obviously, Anne made a really big save as well. So, and then when you score, the key bit then is obviously build on that momentum, and I think you saw that. We've got a real good energy from the crowd as well, and the players really thrive off that, and then obviously that really builds momentum in our favour, and you could see the opposition at that point were in a position where they were struggling to keep up with our speed that we'd injected into the game. So again, the game's always about momentum and handling momentum when it's against you. How do you keep control of what you're doing? And then when it's with you, certainly putting your foot down. And I think we did that for sure.
Hi, Peyton Skeels, She Plays Inc. Sorry. Can you tell us anything about the situation with Anne down in the pitch, down by the supporter section? Do you know what happened? Is she all right? Like, any information you have on that?
At this moment, I haven't spoken to the medical team, so I can't give you a direct update. Obviously, Anne's taken, as you've seen with our games, a few knocks in the last few games. So Anne's a warrior, as we know. She does everything for this team to make sure she's available and ready, and she puts her body on the line every week, as you know, coming to watch us. So at this moment, no further update. And again, knowing Anne, she'll be doing her absolute best to recover well and be ready for the next game. Thanks.
Random question, nothing to do with the game. Because of your experience between here and England, a young NWSL players, what do they need to do to perform well at WSL going into the season?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I like that. What do they? It's so young player. I think obviously the two leagues have different styles. Obviously, that European style you have in the WSL in England compared to here. So there's not just the football adjustments, it's also the life adjustments as well. That's a critical thing for young players. So my advice, for what it's worth, would be obviously for any young player is to understand their environments, be forgiving of themselves as well, to understand that environment they're going into, because as I say, all leagues present slightly different challenges, as we know, and I think the key bit for any young player really is to understand ultimately what environment they're in and how can they impact it. But yeah, obviously we've seen some movements between different teams and different leagues at the moment. So yeah, those players I'm sure will be well looked after. Thanks.
How important is the atmosphere in the group for a game like that and to sort of stick together and facilitate that comeback?
It's so critical, and I think, the absolute credit to the players. They create such a good atmosphere for each other. They give each other confidence and again take a great deal of belief in terms of knowing that we've got players who, like I mentioned before, if they start a game, will do absolutely everything for this team, but equally the players who come onto the field will do everything to make sure they either see out a game or change a game like we saw this evening. So yeah, the group, we've got a special group here, a real good mix of, absolute lots of NWSL international experience, but also those rookies, which we've leaned on heavily, as you know, across the season so far, and again today. And I think the fact that they all are very much united in wanting this team to succeed is what you see, and that's why you get special results like this and big moments, and particularly that second half.
You mentioned how impactful and like how much you've leaned on the rookies this year. But we saw definitely like a very positive change when you brought in substitutions that were Midge and Rose. Is there a reason that you thought that injected something that worked into the game, or like what was the thought behind those substitutions?
Yeah, obviously both players have had, their comebacks from a variety of sort of injuries and knocks this season. So again, we're always very aware of we want to maximise the players' availability, not just in an isolated game, but for the remaining part of the season. But of course, when you're bringing people on of the quality and the stature of Midge and obviously Rose, that definitely changes the dynamic, not only for our team, but I'm sure for the opposition team as well, in terms of it presents, totally different set of problems for them to try and solve, and it gives our team that real injection of good experience, good know-how, and you saw with their link-up play how dynamic we can be, and that's a huge credit to our medical and high-performance team to get those players back onto the field and ready. And fingers crossed, as I say, I haven't had a report medically post this game, but again, the roster's now moving into a real nice spot at the right time, as you know, crucial part of the season to have as many players healthy. And again, we're really blessed to have rookies who've really stood up and produced some fabulous performances, and will continue to do that. But now some of those more established players with that experience now at the critical end of the season. Thanks.
Holden Williamson, WRHU. What are some things that you feel can still be built on as this playoff push continues?
Yeah, I think already straight away, then we've got a real ambitious group of players, and you can hear just in some of the conversations after the game, they still know we need to be better at aspects of our performance from tonight and also across the season. And similar with the staff as well, we've got a real ambitious staff who want to make sure that the team is as best prepared as possible. So there's certainly areas we can tidy up on. We were a little bit disappointed in the first half, particularly with our aggression when we lost the ball. It's something we normally pride ourselves on being really hard to play against as much as when we have the ball. So yeah, and that's normal, that's natural. We've had a real heavy schedule. Don't forget, obviously with the CONCACAF games, so I think we've got a run of maybe 20 odd days on the road coming up over the next month as well. So this is where you lean into all those experiences, and that will set us up for a real strong push. Thanks.
Any more for Andy? One more?
Hi, Andy. I had a question about your top goal scorer, Esther. Obviously, she wasn't able to get on the score sheet today, but talk to me about how important her on and off the ball movement is, even when she's not able to score.
You've nailed it with your question. You're absolutely right. Esther doesn't always have to score to impact, and I actually think in many respects, if you look at the impact Esther has had in terms of goal scoring, I think it's a challenge for the rest of the group to step up and support her in the number of goals that we can spread across the team. And obviously Jalen's making a nice habit of scoring goals of the week, or maybe goals of the season as well, contenders. So that's been nice, and I think again all the best teams, most successful teams will lean on the whole roster to contribute to the goals. But in terms of Esther's contribution, we obviously adjusted her position. She went a bit more into like a number 10 midfield position in the second half. And what she brings there is then someone who can connect the game. She's obviously very, very adept at, linking up and then bringing, our midfielders into the game a little bit more, bringing our wide players into the game a little bit more. So the brilliant thing about Esther is she always does absolutely everything for the team. And I've talked a lot about what she does with the ball, but as, again, you all watch this team a lot and know that Esther brings so much without the ball as well. The way she presses and gets tight to players and really sets that tempo for the team is critical to how we play. So, again, we're really fortunate to have someone like her in our roster.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.